In the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, it's easy to believe that the lives of the rich and famous are perfect. However, beneath the surface, many actors have faced intense struggles, with some falling prey to the dark allure of drugs. Today, we'll delve into the stories of 21 actors who were once on top of the world, but saw their careers and lives destroyed by addiction. Some of these stories are tragic, some shocking, and others are stark warnings of how quickly things can spiral out of control. River Phoenix. River Phoenix was a rising star in the late 1980s and early 90s, known for his incredible talent and striking looks. He started his career at a young age, quickly becoming one of Hollywood's most promising actors. However, as his fame grew, so did the pressures of Hollywood. River began experimenting with drugs in his late teens. By the time he was 23, he was using heroin and cocaine regularly. On Halloween night in 1993, River Phoenix tragically collapsed outside the Viper Room, a popular club in Los Angeles. Despite efforts to save him, he died from an overdose of cocaine and heroin, known as a speedball. His death shocked the world, and River's potential was forever lost. Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was an actor who seemed to have it all: talent, good looks, and a bright future. His career took off in the early 2000s with roles in movies like A Knight's Tale and Brokeback Mountain. However, it was his portrayal of the Joker in The Dark Knight that solidified his status as one of the most talented actors of his generation. But behind the scenes, Heath was struggling with insomnia, anxiety, and the pressures of fame. He began using prescription drugs to cope, including sleeping pills, painkillers, and anti-anxiety medication. On January 22, 2008, Heath was found dead in his New York apartment from an accidental overdose of prescription drugs. His death was a devastating loss to the film industry, leaving fans and colleagues mourning the immense talent that was gone too soon. Corey Haim. Corey Haim was one of the biggest teen stars of the 1980s, known for his roles in movies like The Lost Boys and Lucas. However, Corey's life behind the scenes was far from glamorous. He started using drugs at a young age, and by the time he was in his 20s, he was heavily addicted to cocaine and prescription medications. Corey's drug use derailed his career, leading to a series of legal and financial troubles. He struggled with addiction for most of his adult life, and despite several attempts at rehab, he could never fully break free from his demons. On March 10, 2010, Corey Haim died from pneumonia, complicated by his long-term drug abuse. He was just 38 years old. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan burst onto the scene as a child star with her breakout role in The Parent Trap. She quickly became a Hollywood darling, starring in hit films like Freaky Friday and Mean Girls. But as she grew older, the pressures of fame began to take a toll. By her late teens, Lindsay was regularly partying, drinking, and experimenting with drugs. Lindsay's once promising career started to unravel as her drug and alcohol use escalated. She faced multiple arrests, stints in rehab, and a series of legal issues that made her a fixture in the tabloids for all the wrong reasons. Although Lindsay has made attempts at a comeback, her career never fully recovered from the damage caused by her substance abuse. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Philip Seymour Hoffman was one of the most respected actors of his generation, known for his incredible range and powerful performances in films like Capote, The Master, and Doubt. But behind the scenes, Hoffman struggled with addiction. He battled drug and alcohol abuse in his early 20s, eventually getting sober for many years. However, in 2012, after more than 2 decades of sobriety, Hoffman relapsed and began using heroin again. On February 2, 2014, he was found dead in his New York apartment with a needle in his arm. The cause of death was an overdose of heroin, cocaine, and prescription medications. Hoffman's death was a tragic reminder of how addiction can reclaim even those who seem to have conquered it. John Belushi. John Belushi was a comedic genius, best known for his work on Saturday Night Live and in films like Animal House and The Blues Brothers. However, his success was marred by his heavy drug use. Belushi was known for his hard partying lifestyle, which included frequent use of cocaine and other substances. On March 5, 1982, Belushi was found dead in his hotel room at the Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles. He had overdosed on a combination of cocaine and heroin known as a speedball. He was just 33 years old. Belushi's death was a wake-up call for many in Hollywood, highlighting the dangers of the drug-fueled lifestyle that was so prevalent at the time. Brad Renfro. Brad Renfro was discovered at a young age and quickly became a child star, known for his roles in The Client, Sleepers, and Apt Pupil. However, as he grew older, Renfro struggled with substance abuse. He started drinking and using drugs in his early teens, and his addiction soon spiraled out of control. Brad's drug use led to several run-ins with the law, and his career began to falter. Despite multiple attempts at rehab, he could never fully break free from his addiction. On January 15, 2008, Renfro died from a heroin overdose at the age of 25. His death was a stark reminder of how quickly addiction can take hold, even for those who find success at a young age. Anna Nicole Smith. Anna Nicole Smith was a model, actress, and television personality who became famous for her larger-than-life persona and tumultuous personal life. However, behind the glamour, Anna Nicole struggled with drug addiction. She was known to use a variety of prescription medications, including painkillers, antidepressants, and sleeping pills. Anna Nicole's life was filled with tragedy, including the sudden death of her son, Daniel, from a drug overdose in 2006. Just months later, on February 8, 2007, Anna Nicole herself died from an overdose of prescription drugs. Her death was the final chapter in a life that had been marred by addiction and heartbreak. Chris Farley. Chris Farley was a comedic powerhouse, known for his work on Saturday Night Live and in films like Tommy Boy and Black Sheep. Farley's larger-than-life personality extended to his off-screen life, where he was known for his hard partying and heavy drug use. Farley's addiction to cocaine and heroin became increasingly out of control in the years leading up to his death. Despite multiple attempts at rehab, he couldn't break free from his addiction. On December 18, 1997, Farley was found dead in his Chicago apartment from a cocaine and morphine overdose. He was just 33 years old. Farley's death was a tragic end to a career that had brought so much joy to so many. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was one of the most iconic actresses of all time, known for her beauty, charm, and vulnerability. However, behind the glamorous image, Marilyn struggled with mental health issues and a growing dependence on prescription drugs. Marilyn's life was filled with personal struggles, including failed marriages and a string of high-profile relationships. She began using sleeping pills and other medications to cope with her anxiety and depression. On August 5, 1962, Marilyn was found dead in her Los Angeles home from an overdose of barbiturates. Her death was ruled a probable suicide, but it remains shrouded in mystery and speculation. Marilyn Monroe's tragic end highlighted the dark side of fame and the toll it can take on even the brightest stars. Judy Garland. Judy Garland was one of the most talented performers of her time, known for her unforgettable role as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. But behind her success, Judy's life was plagued by substance abuse. She was introduced to drugs at a young age by studio executives who gave her amphetamines to keep her weight down and barbiturates to help her sleep. This cycle of drug use continued throughout her life, leading to addiction and numerous health issues. Despite several attempts to get clean, Judy struggled with her addiction until the very end. On June 22, 1969, she was found dead in her London home from an overdose of barbiturates. Judy Garland's death at the age of 47 was a heartbreaking end to a life marked by extraordinary talent and immense personal pain. Jean Seberg. Jean Seberg was an American actress who gained fame in the 1960s, particularly for her role in Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless. However, Jean's life was troubled, marked by political controversy, personal struggles, and a growing dependence on drugs. Seberg's involvement with radical political groups led to her being targeted by the FBI, which conducted a smear campaign against her. The stress of this, along with personal issues, led her to abuse alcohol and prescription drugs. On August 30th, 1979, Seberg was found dead in her car in Paris, having overdosed on barbiturates. Her death was ruled a suicide, but many believe the pressures she faced contributed to her tragic end. Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin became a household name as a child star, thanks to his roles in films like Home Alone and My Girl. However, as he grew older, Macaulay struggled with the pressures of fame and the impact it had on his personal life. By his late teens, he was reportedly using a variety of drugs, including marijuana, cocaine, and prescription pills. Macaulay's substance abuse led to a series of legal issues and a decline in his acting career. Although he has largely stayed out of the spotlight in recent years, there have been ongoing concerns about his health and well-being. While he has managed to avoid the tragic fate of some of his peers, Macaulay's story is a reminder of the challenges that can come with early fame. Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. is one of Hollywood's most remarkable comeback stories, but his journey to sobriety was long and difficult. Downey began using drugs at a young age, introduced to them by his father. By the time he was an adult, he was heavily addicted to cocaine, heroin, and other substances. Downey's drug use led to numerous arrests, rehab stints, and a period of career decline in the late 1990s and early 2000s. However, after finally getting sober in 2003, Downey was able to rebuild his career, eventually becoming one of the biggest stars in the world with his role as Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Robert Downey Jr.'s story is one of redemption, showing that even the darkest moments can lead to a brighter future. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was one of the highest-paid actors on television, thanks to his role in the hit show 2.5 Men. However, his off-screen life was a far cry from the success he enjoyed on the screen. Sheen was known for his wild partying, which included heavy drug use, particularly cocaine. In 2011, Sheen's erratic behavior led to his firing from 2.5 Men, and his career took a nosedive. His public meltdown, which included bizarre rants and the infamous phrase, "winning," became a media spectacle. Despite attempts to regain control of his life and career, Charlie Sheen's legacy has been forever tarnished by his struggles with addiction. Dana Plato. Dana Plato was a child star, best known for her role as Kimberly Drummond on the hit TV show Different Strokes. However, after the show ended, Dana struggled to find work and turned to drugs and alcohol to cope with her declining career. Her substance abuse led to a series of legal problems, including arrests for robbery and drug possession. Despite attempts to get clean, Dana continued to struggle with addiction. On May 8, 1999, she died from an overdose of prescription drugs, which was ruled a suicide. Dana Plato's life was a tragic tale of a young starlet who never found peace after the spotlight faded. Michael Vincent. Michael Vincent was a handsome and talented actor, best known for his role in the TV show Airwolf in the 1980s. However, Vincent's career was derailed by his heavy drinking and drug use. He became notorious for his erratic behavior on set and his frequent run-ins with the law. Vincent's addiction led to a series of personal and professional setbacks, including severe health problems. By the time of his death in 2019, he had largely disappeared from the public eye. Michael Vincent's story is a cautionary tale of how addiction can take everything away, even from those who seem to have it all. These stories serve as stark reminders of the destructive power of addiction. Each of these actors was blessed with incredible talent and had the world at their feet, but their lives were forever changed by drugs. While some managed to find redemption, others were not so fortunate. It's important to remember that addiction is a disease, and it can affect anyone, regardless of their fame or success. If you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse, please seek help. There is always hope, and recovery is possible. Thank you for joining us today. Let's honor the memories of those we've lost and support those who are still fighting.